Arc addition, just like everything else we've ever done in terms of addition, segment addition was the two smaller pieces add up to the whole piece. Angle addition was the same thing. Area addition was the same thing. Now we have arc addition, which means if we have two adjacent arcs, two arcs that form a larger arc, well, then they add up together to give me the larger arc. So two adjacent arcs add together to give me the larger arc that they create. Okay, so in other words, if I have two arcs that are kind of pressed together, and they have to be adjacent, in other words, they have to be touching just like any segments that we have, okay? They have to come together to form a larger arc. Well, the two smaller pieces add up to the whole thing. For example, if we look at something like this guy, I want to find the measure of arc ABC. And notice, I wouldn't have to necessarily label that with 3 points. I could have labeled it just AC because that's the shortest distance, but using 3 points is fine. Okay, it tells me exactly which arc I'm talking about. So I want the measurement of this entire arc right here, ABC. And notice I have one piece of that arc at 74 degrees. And now when I look at the other piece, I have a central angle. So this is a central angle. Well, I know that the central angle and the arc measurement are the same. So this out here is also 24 degrees. And so here's what arc addition says. It says, hey, this piece, the 74, the AB, and this piece, the BC, those two arcs form this bigger arc of ABC. Well, I just add together to find the measure of ABC. So for this one, ABC, when I add those together, that gives me a 98 degrees. And that's it. Okay? If I look at the next one, same kind of thing. I want the measure of arc AB. And be careful here, shortest distance, arc AB is this one up here. Okay? And so when you look at that, the thing that's tricky here is we have to understand the number of degrees in a circle. And so for our purposes, anytime you're looking at a circle has a total of 360 degrees. Okay? And that's one of those things that you've probably heard before. So when you spin something 360 degrees, that's one full rotation. So degrees in a circle is 360. And so as we kind of think about that, let's look at the different arcs that I have here. Right here, here's a central angle of 62 degrees, so this arc is also 62. Over here, here's a central angle of 174 degrees, but we already have that arc, I guess. And so when we think about this, let's think about the distance the whole way around here. All of these arcs, maybe I'll call this one X, but all three of these arcs have to add up to 360 degrees to make it the whole way around the circle. So if I want to find X, I just start with the 360, and I subtract the arcs that I have. I subtract the 62, I subtract the 174, okay? Just like we've done with things like angle addition, with supplementary angles, that kind of thing. I start with the whole thing, the 360, and I subtract the angles that I have to see what's left over, okay? And so when I subtract those, what I'm left with is 124 degrees. So this guy up here is 124 degrees. So there's the measurement of that arc. Okay. If I look at this one, once again, here I have a diameter. And so here's the thing. If the whole way around the circle is 360 degrees, the diameter is going to be half. Okay. So a semicircle like this guy, this whole piece right here, well, that whole thing has to be 180 degrees, okay? It's halfway around the circle, so it's 180 degrees. And really, we already knew that from the fact that this central angle is a straight angle. Well, that means 180 degrees. So that whole piece is 180 degrees. Based on this central angle, this is 152. I just have to find this missing measurement right here, okay? And once again, those two angles, those two arcs should add up to 180 degrees. Sorry, I have an 18 over here. I missed my 0. But those two arcs should add up to 180 degrees. So I just have to do a little subtracting. I say, okay, you know what? The whole thing is 180 minus the 152 should leave me with that smaller piece, which is the 28 degrees. Okay? So this missing angle, this arc, 28 degrees. And then looking at this guy, it says I want the measurement of ACB. So I want the whole way around this thing, okay? So I want all the way around this circle, this major arc, this really big guy, okay? And keep in mind, I already know kind of part of this, like this piece right here. Once again, that's a semicircle, so that's 180 degrees, Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to add this little piece of BC to that. And so when I look at this, I have an inscribed angle here, an inscribed angle of 22 degrees, which means, well, the missing piece over here, BC, has to be 44 degrees. Remember, the relationship is that inscribed angle is half the arc. Well, now I can use arc addition. If I've got a 180 piece and a 44 degree piece, the total there for this arc is going to be 224 degrees. Okay?